little butterflies. In this video is going to be my review on Tales from the Graveyard by Suzanne Shultz. This book was an ebook, and thanks to Full Feather Fire Publishing and NetGalley, I got to get my hands on it. It was a really interesting, good book for Halloween, and it wasn't even on my Halloween TBR, but I am glad that I read it because it fit perfectly in with everything else. Tales from the Graveyard is a collection of 4 different short stories from 4 different people, but their stories intertwine with each other like you would have never thought before. And this book, altogether, I gave it a 4 out of 5. And I mean, like, all together, including all the stories, but each story specifically I gave a rating to also. The first story was The Blacksmith, and I did rate this one a 5 out of 5 stars. This story was the most gruesome of them all out of all of these stories in this book, and I was just taken back by how gruesome it really was because I wasn't expecting that in this book. The Blacksmith is centered around this girl, Ainsley. And to me, the whole book is really centered around Ainsley. She pops up in just about every damn story. But pretty much, Ainsley is this very dark and disturbed person. Like, she has really deep-rooted issues that she should have probably talked to somebody about. I mean, she had a rough start from the beginning. Her dad left her mother. Her mother ended up committing suicide soon after he left, and then her grandmother was raising her, and then her grandmother died 6 years previous, so she's been alone. And then on top of that, she did get married, but then she couldn't carry a baby to full term. She kept having miscarriages. I think she had 2 miscarriages, and then her husband divorced her and married like not too far away after they had got divorced, and got the woman pregnant. He needed an heir, and his family agreed with him. So I mean, he's a dick, of course. Just hearing that, like, you would think you would love your wife no matter what, but you left her just so you could have somebody be your baby factory. But given all of that, it wasn't too much of a surprise that, she was doing what she was doing. Look how she had a troubled childhood. Like, it was terrible. Automatically, I thought her ass was just a little crazy because she's saying she sees ghosts, and she has a favorite ghost. Yes, his name is the Blacksmith. And that's her favorite ghost. And not just that, she sleeps on his grave. Who sleeps on a grave? She sleeps on his grave. Yes. The ghosts talk to her. She feel like they're her friend. She have a graveyard in her backyard. She live on the top of a hill with a graveyard in her backyard, and she calls her graveyard her garden, bursting with life. I seriously think she's suicidal and clearly depressed, looking at everything, but no one really notices her, like, because she don't really show it when she's out and about. The only time she really goes out is when she goes to work, and she has like a little split personality, because she'll go out in the middle of the night and pick up men, bring them back to her house, and have her way with them. Now, whatever that means to you is what it means to you. I'm not going to give anything up because the big thing in this story, I cannot spit it out. I would definitely associate the Blacksmith with being like a demon or like the Reaper, because first of all, everyone sees him. Everyone in this story sees him, and he keeps telling people your time is near or it's not your time. I just clearly associate him with being like the Grim Reaper. You're coming to take people to their destination. And there's this guy, Sam. He's her best friend. They've been friends since they were in school. They dated, I think she said they dated in high school, but then they broke up. But they're still best friends, but she has an unhealthy obsession with Sam. Sam means everything to her, but she doesn't tell Sam that she still has those feelings for her, and he's not paying attention to it. He just thinks they're friends. But to me, she was clearly insane if she seriously thought Sam was going to be okay with her extracurricular activity that she was doing in her backyard, and he was going to want to be with her after that. That to me is insane, that if she seriously thought that what was going to happen. And like I said before, it doesn't surprise me that she murdered people. What shocked me is how she murdered people. That part I was not ready for, the how. I kind of figured she was gonna do that, but I didn't know how and how many she had already done it to before. Like, that how is what's gonna knock you out of your socks when you find out how. And at first, I was just calling her crazy, but after she did what she did, I was like, homegirl is just psychopathic. She's a psychopath. That's what she is to me. She's not just crazy anymore. It's to a whole new level that she even took it to. And then on top of that, the blacksmith is encouraging her to do these things. He's there when she's doing it, and he's like rooting her on, like, yeah, that's right, do it, he deserves it. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, she has no one telling her not to do something like that, because everybody else don't even know that she's doing this. And there's a point in the story where she starts talking about some of the people that were already in the graveyard that her grandmother was telling her about. One person is Mrs. Brown, and she had an abusive husband. She had an abusive mother-in-law. She was pretty much, the mother-in-law didn't want her with her son. She wanted her son all to herself. She ended up having a baby. The mother-in-law, you know, killed the baby. And I just felt the worst for her story, because you married this man thinking y'all was going to be in love forever, and he loved you, and then bring you into that kind of situation. And I just felt the worst for her story. Like, it had me just so upset, and I felt like I was gonna cry when I read that part in the story. But I didn't. I held it together. It's weird, but I do see the realistic comparison in this story, because I know it happens all the time. You know, you have a best friend that you don't know is crazy. You don't know is doing all this, because when they're with you, they just seem completely normal. She wears the perfect mask. She doesn't talk to people that much. She don't tell you about it. And when stuff happened, everybody's just like, oh, well, we had no idea. I would never imagine she would do something like that. She just seems just sweet and genuine, but she has a darker part to her that no one sees until it's too late. But I do really feel bad for her, because I know all she probably need was some like really intense therapy. If she would have got help, you know, she'd have just told people, you know, what's going on in her mind. I figured if she got some help, maybe, you know, that wouldn't have happened to her life, because she feels genuinely bad about it afterwards. She can't think about it. It makes her feel terrible that, you know, she's doing that, and that Sam doesn't want her. I feel terrible for her knowing that she goes through that. So I do have a compassionate side for her, even though she's a crazy bitch, but I still have a compassionate side for her. I did have a favorite quote in this story. Like, I saw it, and I know you're probably thinking, how the hell you have a favorite quote in a story about stuff going on like that? I did, and I didn't think it was gonna be something in here, but I really did love this quote. I put it on Goodreads and everything as one of my favorite quotes. And it said, I'm going to read it out to you. Because books are alive. They are more alive than you and me. Books live forever. They live on in their own jackets. They live on in their reader's memory. They live on in their writer's minds. And that, to me, I just thought it was the most amazing thing that I read in a book. It's like, because it's so true. Like, when you're reading a book, it's like you transform to a whole nother place. It's like you are in that book, and the book is living. It's like it's real. And I love to get into a book at that capacity where I feel like I'm inside of the book. The second story in this collection is Jessie, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars for this story particularly. This story was just like weird, like really weird, where the other story was just 100% gruesome. Like, the first story was really gross, and then this story is kind of you know, simmered down, but it's really weird. Crazy, because the blacksmith is in this story too, but in this story he was still human. So it's like Ainsley was like present time, and Jessie is like set before Ainsley even came about. And when the realization hit me at the end of the story about who this story was actually about, I was just blown away, because I kind of had my suspicions from the beginning on how the story was going on, but it all wrapped together at the end exactly what was going on. First of all, when I started reading the story, I was like, why the hell does everyone live in this damn creepy ass house? Secluded creepy ass house at that much? Why? Like, what do people see in these houses? Another thing is, before I even got good into the story, I just completely hated her family. Like, she stayed with her, she was married and she stayed in the house with her mother-in-law and her husband. What does that sound like? Okay, but I hated them. They were just so mean to her. It's like she was their slave. She wasn't even a part of the family, pretty much. It was like she was a living slave, a free slave, pretty much. That's how they treated her. They treated her with no love or compassion. They beat her, the husband and the mother-in-law. They beat her. She cooked all the dinners if something was cold, or, oh, I'm tired of eating this. They fussed at her and hit her. She had to do all the chores around the house, pretty much. Did the laundry, and then the mother-in-law would intentionally sabotage everything she was doing, just so the husband can beat her. The mother-in-law didn't want her around. She wanted her son to herself. I do love reading her thoughts when she's like interacting with her husband and her mother-in-law. To me, her thoughts are just, it had me laughing, because I know at one point, you know, she was bringing dinner to the table, and he was like, what, no bread? And she was like, I'm coming. But in her mind, she said, choke on it. And I was like, I loved her. Jessie was probably my favorite person throughout these 4 stories. Like, I loved her so much. Like, I just felt like, yes, girl. I rooted her on the whole time. I was like, I can't wait till they get what's coming to them. And I find it kind of gross, but also kind of romantic that she had sex with the blacksmith. To me, it was because he was there for her. He hadn't turned into this demonic person. He was still human. And even afterlife, I don't think he's too demonic. You know, I don't think he's too evil. And like, seriously, I actually rooted for Jessie. I was like, in my mind, I was like, I was on Mortal Kombat mode. I was like, finish them. That's how I was when I was reading this. I was like, just do it already. My mother-in-law seriously reminds me from the mother off of See No Evil with Cain. If y'all have not seen that movie, y'all have to go see it. But her mother reminds me of her. Another thing I thought was really weird, that her and her husband they don't share the same bed. They don't share the same room. He has his own room and she has hers. And I find that really weird, because you're married and you don't even share the same room. And I thought that's a little fishy to me. Really did like how Suzanne wrote about the sex in this book, and like she didn't write it in a cliche way like most YA books do. She didn't make it seem uncomfortable for the reader. She just put out there like it happens, you know, like it's normal. But in other YA books, they make it seem just so weird and I don't even know how to explain it, but she did this book she put it in this book just so good. Like, I felt like I was reading this like a regular romance novel. And I'm so happy that she did it that way and didn't make it awkward. And like I said before, when the realization hit me about who this story really was about, I was like, Ainsley left out so many details. She did not have all her details correct when she told this story. After I read it, like, she gave the PG version of what really happened. And I just loved how they tormented the mother-in-law. I loved it how her and the blacksmith tormented the mother-in-law. Oh yes, I felt like I was watching a horror movie at that point, where, you know, the person will go in the room because they think they hear something, and when they go in there, nothing is there, and then they close and they start hearing it again, and then you peep through the little peephole and something pop up and scare you. Gosh, yes. I love the ending of this story just so much, and I felt like they played with it too much. I was just like, come on, hurry up and finish her off, because she needed it. I also loved how they ended this story with the beginning to Ainsley's story. It's like they went backwards, and I really did. I love that. Like, that was the best. I love when books kind of do that, because I kind of love when movies do that too. So that was perfect. Okay, you guys, that's 2 down and 2 more to go. This might be a little long video, so if you need to take a break, you know, go take a break, get your snack, water, whatever you gotta do. You know, pause the video, you know, go walk around, stretch. 2 more stories, but they shouldn't be, those reviews shouldn't be that long, because the stories weren't that long. The third story is Dirt, and I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars just because it kind of left me a little confused at the end about how, you know, stuff kind of happened. And, you know, so I didn't like this story as much as I liked the others. This story is about this girl named Lila. I'm thinking that's how you pronounce her name. It's Lila. So I'm going to guess that you pronounce her name Lila. And Lila's a reporter, and this is after Ainsley, after she did all she did, and you know, the police found out and everything. And she's a reporter, and you know, she's writing about the story for the newspaper, you know, the generic brand, like she says that the police gave her to write about. And something is eating at her because she wants to know why Ainsley did that. Why, described by her friends and co-workers as such a quiet and shy girl, would do something like that. You know, she cares about why, and no one else cares about why. She can't figure out why it's biting at her so bad to figure out why she did things like that. So after she gets off, she goes up to the house, not, you know, thinking, she's in her mind, she's not even going that way, but just something made her turn the wheel to go up there to the house. Just reading that part, I'm like, they gonna trap your ass. But anyway, she drove up to the house to look around in the graveyard. She not finding this notebook, one of Ainsley's notebooks, and so she takes that with her home. And she had the boyfriend that's a police officer, and you know, she's telling him, you know, she went to the house, and he's pissed off because he's like, it's still a crime scene, you could have did this or whatever. And to me, in his story, he's a really dick. He comes off as caring, but he has these dick characteristics. Like, I'm just like, you're such an asshole. Like, but you know, she doesn't tell him she finds the notebook, but he just upset that he went up there. It's a heated conversation at this point. They're having a heated argument. Like, seriously, I'm just giving you the toned down version. And she ends up just being like, okay, whatever, I won't go up there anymore. Just telling him what he wants to hear so he can shut up, pretty much. And I do that a lot as a woman. The bottom line is, she really cares why. He pretty much tell her he don't give a good damn why she did it. He's just happy that the crazy bitch is dead. That's pretty much what he tells her. And she's pissed off about that because she wants people to know the truth behind Ainsley, like what drove her to do it. She don't think she's just this psycho person. She has a reason for why. To me, Lila was a pretty much normal person. She had, you know, a normal job. She had a boyfriend. She was dating. You know, she actually went out. You know, people talked to her. She wasn't really shy. You know, so she was pretty normal to me. And it's amazing because Lila had a tragedy of her own as a child that she doesn't really like to discuss too much. And that was another thing. I got the part about her family was in a fire when she was young, but I didn't get, unless I missed it, about how the fire happened itself. You know, I don't know if that's the part she was really guilty about or what. But that part left me a little confused and, you know, a little lost. And she collects enough evidence, you know, about Ainsley to actually putting in a paper, you know, about her. And she goes to her editor, to her boss, and he's a real dick because he doesn't want to print it because for the sake of his social status, he doesn't want to print it because he don't want to be shut out of town for printing something like that, telling about the real Ainsley, not just the killer part, about her background. He doesn't want to print it. It pisses her off. She quits. The boyfriend is upset that she quits. They get in a whole nother fight, and her boyfriend is a real ass. Like, he doesn't listen to her. She's telling him things and he's just ignoring her. He only wants to hear his own voice. He's not abusive, but he's a real asshole. Then she ended up meet Sam, and oh my god, Lily and Sam is just wow. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave that at that for you to go find out on your own. And the ending really did leave me confused. Just because I'm like, so exactly, I'm kind of confused on the part of exactly how did Lila die, pretty much. How did it happen? Did she, like, did the blacksmith kill her? Did he take her? Like, exactly what happened that she died? All I got was she fell in the hole. I mean, other than that, I don't really know how she died. The last story is Sam, and I did give this one a 4 out of 5 stars because I did like it. This one was really good. It was pretty damn good. It was way better than the last one. I really loved this one. So, you know, Sam was Ainsley's best friend as a child, and this story starts off just so interesting. He and his pregnant wife is moving into Ansley's house. Yes, the house on the hill with the graveyard behind it. He's moving his pregnant wife into this house. And the wife's name is Claudia, and she's not too happy about it just because she knew everything that was going on in the house before. And he was just trying to reassure her that he owed it to his friend not to let her house get condemned and all of that stuff. But in reality, Sam's having some guilt issues of his own because he feels like it's his fault that Ansley did all this because he didn't see how much more she really needed of him, how much more she loved him, and he didn't see it. So he felt like it was his fault that she did everything that she did. And I'm so happy Ansley comes back in the story, like her voice wise comes back in this story, and she's making smart remarks every time Claudia says something. She makes a smart remark, and it's funny hearing it because Claudia's like, I don't like it here, and then Ansley's like, well, I don't like you here either. And I was like, oh my god, like see, hearing something like that would make me laugh at the time if it was happening to me, but it's funny seeing it happening to somebody else. And Claudia is really trying to comfort herself while she's in the house alone when Sam's at work because she's hearing noises. She's hearing a rocking chair upstairs that is supposed to be their new baby's nursery rocking, and no one's there. And she goes up there and no one's there. And then she starts hearing this, singing this song in her head that she's never heard before, and she doesn't know where it comes from. And when you read the story, you will know exactly where it comes from, but she has no idea where it's coming from. I was seriously in my feelings the whole story just because I was afraid that Claudia's baby was going to come to the same fate that Jesse's baby did. And I was hoping that it would not, praying to God that it would not, but that's what I had my feelings in the whole story. I was more afraid for her than I was for Sam. And it's an insane love triangle going on. Everybody wants Sam. Ansley wants Sam. Claudia wants Sam. That's an insane love triangle with a dead person. Like, that's insane to me. What a triangle. And to me, hearing all this, Sam better be fine as hell. Everybody jumping on Sam. Everybody wants a piece of Sam. Sam better be fine. And it's really weird what they end up naming the baby at the end. And I'm like, how the hell is Claudia taking them naming the baby this? Like, how did he persuade her to be down for that name? Like, I had no idea, but I was like, whatever. And this story was really nice. Altogether, I gave Tales from the Graveyard 4 out of 5 stars. And I really did love this. I do recommend it to anybody that's looking for a good scare. It would have been perfect for Halloween. I mean, it's still not too late. You can go read it. I really loved it. You will definitely enjoy it. Thank you guys for watching my review. See you guys later. Bye.